change, because why the hell not? Because sometimes you're stuck in your apartment all freaking day and you're just gonna switch up your look a bit and keep filming videos, so why? Let's talk about my tarot spread from the previous year and review and see how accurate it was. So, I'm gonna put on my screen right now what I said when I posted this spread the year before, and you see how I say, and this one makes me a bit nervous. Oh, the poor innocent little Sam. Young, sweet summer's child. She did not know. She did not know what 2020 had in store for her, so... Well, let's go through it, shall we? Alright, so... the lovely spread. You guys can also, if you want to see the one that I'm going to do on Samhain, follow me on Instagram. I'm Shadow Harvest over there as well. For some reason, you don't. First things first, I had the Ace of Pentacles, which I guess makes sense. The month of November was a lot of shifting and changes for me. I was basically making decisions between wanting to move or wanting to find a new job. I kind of came to the conclusion, as I've constantly had, is that I really love to slow down and savor life more. So I was kind of like in between decisions there, and it was clearly a very big monetary shift and decision of which I wanted to go with, but I was warring between the two because I knew that they would both be upset to my finances. So it's interesting because I think like that had started to tingle in my head a little bit, even though my lease wasn't up until February, but I definitely just wanted to get the ball rolling. By December, I have, oh, what's a sword card? What sword card is that? Five of Swords, I think it looks like, yeah. So I think it's the Five of Swords, and then it was the Four of Cups, which makes total sense. I had finally decided I was going to move instead to this lovely apartment I'm now in. And, yeah, I had, in my head at the time, I had really put my mindset to move into an entirely brand new, not old building. Like, I wanted a new build for air conditioning purposes, just amenities in general. I was like, I really wanted to do that, and I wanted to see, I was planning on spending a little more money per month, but I didn't want to spend too much. I think I only wanted to increase my rent by maybe like $100 a month. I went from a $1,000 studio a month to this place I pay $1,200. That was about like my max was maybe $300, and I was starting to realize that in the area of Portland where I live that was not, it was, I was gonna have to downsize from my studio to like even smaller studio square foot wise, and like, yeah, I would have gotten some really nice amenities along the way, but I also would have had to like go way outside my price range to get anything even kind of close to the amount of square footage I had. And I had this really stuck in my head, and it was a lot of me thinking I was gonna have to move out of my neighborhood, which I really love. For the walkability of everything, and because it's now close to several friends that I have and my favorite places. And at the time I thought I was gonna get to like travel around and go to like my favorite bars a bunch more in 2020, but I also knew I spent a shit ton of time in my apartment, so it was like a lot of warring with it. So that makes sense, the Five of Swords and the unknown choice hitting in the background, because then I found this place. I randomly started looking at older buildings again. This is the first one I looked at of an older building, and it was this beautiful one bedroom for a very reasonable price. $1,200 a month for a one bedroom is damn good, and for at least for the area that I live in. So that was December, and then January is what, the Nine? Yeah, Nine of Pentacles. And yeah, I was in abundance mode. I moved here. I felt like this was such a fantastic upgrade. I was so excited about it. It was something that was really great for just the windows, the light, and my mom actually got to come up during the new year, spend the new year with me while I moved, and so she helped me move me in and helped me pick out a couple of furniture pieces and stuff along with my dad. He came up and got to chill out at the very start of January, which was great, and I really thoroughly enjoyed that, and it was a lot of fun. February has the Ace of Cups, which emotions and starting. I got back into the dating world. I also did a very interesting thing where this is when I started cutting off. I mentioned before where I think I changed my fate a little bit coming on into here. We'll discuss that when we get to the month of August, but this is when I started doing that. This is when I started putting down my line, and it's interesting, Ace of Cups, I kind of see it as a bit of a refresher, a whole new perspective on my emotional, romantic dating sphere and life. I was very stringent here with about like who I was really giving my time to friendship wise, and then also with but specifically with romance. I was very suddenly like, no, I'm not playing this game, I'm not playing this game, I'm not doing this shit no more, goodbye, all of this is done. Like I'm putting my line in the sand here. This is what is important to me. I'm not backing down from it. These are my boundaries. So moving on to the month of, let's see, November, December, January, February, month of March, and we have the Nine of Pentacles? Yeah, Nine of Cups. Ooh, this is interesting. I might have to, it's been a while since I've ever drawn the Nine of Cups, other than the spread clearly. What does the Nine of Cups generally go for? Oh, and this is just all thing to all like younger witches who maybe feel the need to like memorize all the cards. Like I pull tarot a lot, but even me, like again, if I haven't pulled a card in a while, I'm like, I get a general idea of its meaning because I can go cups, nine, I can like pull from elements, but sometimes I just gotta look it up and be like, what does that one mean again? It's fine to do that. It's not a big deal. So you know those moments when you glance around and feel your heart overflow with love and appreciation for everything you've created in your life? That's what Nine of Cups is about. Emotional fulfillment, happiness, and contentment. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, this is what's interesting, because we all know what happened in the month of March. Right? And right before this, I think what's interesting is we were just starting to get trickles and trails, and I was not as focused on politics at this time. I'm always kind of focused on what's going on, politics and stuff, but I'm not like overly, you know, invested into it previously to all this stuff happening. I was kind of listening to what was going on. I'd listen to the news, but it was a little more sporadic. It wasn't as gung-ho unless there was a certain issue that really captured my attention, as opposed to now where it's quite a bit different. But before in that month of March, I was spending some really great times with friends. I felt really empowered with my decision to kind of like lay down the law with my relationships, and it felt like I was really gaining ground and doing really amazing things. And all that came to a halt in mid-March. And it's funny because I think that card is way more playing to the start of it. Because I was emotional, I was content, I was very happy. And I think in a little ways it kind of bled over into when we started having to quarantine and COVID was really kicking up near the end at mid-March. Honestly, I think like part of me was so grateful to have moved to this apartment, that I had friends that I had, you know, really reconnected with, that I had kind of cut off all these weird romantic entanglements because it was so hard to just like, you know what I mean? Like all of this made a lot of sense. And then now we're getting to the part of the year where, yeah, things get weird. And I remember the minute that this happened, when I saw strength having to appear in the month of April, I was like, what? Okay. Things get weird from here, don't they? So in the month of April, strength makes a shit ton of sense. I was happy and grateful and really leaning on all of the habits and things I had built up since then, and I was trying to find, you know, work on my graphic novel, work on videos, work on things, and get through all the craziness as we all were wandering around with a bunch of unknowns, barely leaving our apartments, our houses, etc. and so forth. And it was I think a real test of the strength, and also realizing what I needed to do, what I needed to be aware of, because that's my word for the year, aware, to keep my strength of heart going. I was very internal and focused, and realizing that maybe some of the old coping mechanisms that I needed to do before weren't gonna work this time around, whether that was because circumstances changed and like literally my environment is now like, no, that's risky and dangerous, you can't do that as a coping mechanism, or hey, maybe what you knew about yourself from beforehand is now changed given this new world and stress and things that we were under. So again, with the accuracy there, makes sense. For the month of May, we have the Page of Wands. And I think that for me, you know, a start of inspiration, of journey. I think it was because May started as, I'm like, okay, this is our new normal. Got it. What can I do to, you know, accept it and reconstruct a new world? It was less about getting through it, because I think I was finally coming to the terms of, oh, it's not going away, is it? To, okay, how do I take control of the situation? How do I add my habits on? How do I find drives? What do I do to turn this around and actually find the silver linings of this year? And, you know, it was seeing my friends and trying to work around, like in parks, going on hikes with them, socially distanced. It was me trying to find ways and actually starting to make plans for the year with the new idea of what the hell was happening around us at play, because all the other plans up to this point, of course, had been canceled. It's like, well, I can't do fun things for my birthday, I can't do this or that, and I can't do this, or go on trips, or, you know, meet at bars, or do a bunch of dating like I wanted to do. Instead, it's like, okay, well, maybe all this is gonna change and we're gonna make a new plan now. That makes sense. June, we have the Hanged Man, which for me, I feel was specifically changing my perspectives on really being aware of what I was doing for racial justice and becoming aware of all the ways that I had failed up to that point and how I needed to reevaluate my specific perspective with so many of the structures of our society. June really was, because of all of the protests really kicking up and happening, especially here in Portland, and me realizing, okay, what else can I do? Where have I been falling short? Where can I call more people, give money, because I'm still employed, so like people are out there giving their time and their energy to this. Well, I have to be at my desk working so I can continue to keep my job and keep a roof over my head. So okay, well, that little excess money, maybe I don't order out one other time, maybe I give it to a bail fund, maybe I do stuff over here. Where else could I research more? What else can I do? And I also think too, it's just me taking a look at our society, and I think this is when I really became way more focused specifically on our local politics and understanding my locality and how can I get more involved in my community, and also understanding the history, the real history of my community, not just the idea that I had in my head when I possibly originally moved here. And getting outside my own perspective, right? Changing my perspective, like the Hangman. It's looking at everything and going, huh, in what way have I been ignoring something? Have I not been aware of how our world really operates? What, in the current way our society is structured, what does that, what from my perspective does that actually say? What from others' perspectives does that actually say? And what do I actually want to see change with that? Like, maybe I can't just change my perspective of, oh, that's bad. It's like, yeah, well, how do we change this? How do we adapt? How do we move forward? So Hangman in June made a lot of freaking sense. The next one was the, yeah, this is when it starts getting Five of Swords. An argument or disagreement that I think doesn't end up going anywhere. I think this is when, like, we both come away losers. If I remember this, that's how that card goes, right? Like, it's like everyone leaves and no one feels like they've won the fight. And honestly, because I kind of think that's what everyone, again, I think this kind of goes more to like my relationships with society, because I think we all have gotten used to, in a way, like things resolving nicely. It's like a movie. It's like within 2 hours there's a conclusion that makes sense and we're done with this, right? And I think it was kind of acknowledging that the problems of our society and how things are evolving is there is no clear, definitive, all perfect answer that everyone agrees upon. Like, there's a lot of things that you have to kind of educate yourself with and sit with and really think through, and it's gonna take a shit ton more time than you thought it was gonna take, not just to like make change, but also just for you to like understand shit and relearn and to learn in general about stuff that maybe you were totally ignorant to before, whether it's actual history and or how your society is structured, and realizing how complicated it all is. And I think that was part of my thing in July, was that I realized it's like, okay, we had the horrible of one thing, and then it was all of the upkicking and the racial justice and all the things, you know, going tipsy-turvy and needing to be addressed, and really thinking about what your place is within all of that. Like, it's so complicated and so a mess, and it can feel so stressful and so burdensome that you can kind of sit there and be like, well, what's the point? Like, none of us are gonna win here. Like, this doesn't bring the poor people who got hurt and were killed back. It's just makes bigger issues. Baby. And it's like, well, no, it's gonna be more complicated and take longer than you thought. This is not gonna take an easy thing. You feel like no one is winning right now because we're in the long game here, yo. This is not a short situation. This is not an easy fix, band-aid type of moment, unfortunately. And then we move into August, which I got the Three of Swords, and then I got Justice on top as a clarifying card, because woo. This is when I think I changed my fate. This is where this is not accurate to what happened. This doesn't make any sense for the year 2020, because last time I checked, no betrayal was really had that I can think of, I guess society-wise in general. Like, everyone who was doing stupid shit were people I was expecting to do stupid shit. Like, it wasn't like a friend, it wasn't a family member, it wasn't a trusted political person. It was like, no, everyone who's doing bad shit, I fully expected them to do more bad shit. Like, it wasn't exactly like a surprise. You know what I mean? And on the romance side, I think this really just comes down to the fact that I put clear-cut boundaries. I cut off a bunch of shit that just was toxic, and if I had continued it into this year, into this craziness going on, like if I had a whole like quarantine relationship thing going on right now, whew, a lot of the things, me kind of waking up to how our medical system works and how our political system works and how our justice system works, ooh, that would not have gone well with a couple of the partners that were still around and I was entertaining, if that makes sense. Like, the one guy I was kind of serious with in October, that definitely, like, we had already some political differences here or there, and it's important for us all to have conversations with people in our lives, right? And to try to get, you know, maybe reach a connection with people who maybe wouldn't understand it from the media or from the internet or, you know, random Twitter arguments. Like, communicate with those you love and who you care about, and try to share your perspective. Try to see if you can bridge that gap of knowledge where you can. And I have some people I'm really love and I'm really close with that there are major disagreements with. Some of them are, I would consider, full-on moral disagreements, and I am trying my hardest to bridge that gap. And knowing that, and thinking of if I had to do that moral bridge with a romantic partner in my life, oh no, that would be too stressful. No thank you. I would have felt betrayed. I would have felt over it. And I know the thing of justice too as a clarifying card is interesting, because there were a lot of things I was looking at societally in the idea of like seeking justice, right? Like demanding justice, keep standing up for this type of shit. But so much of it was stalled out. So much of it wasn't granted. So much of it was passed over and not really made to help at all, if that makes sense. Like, it was just a whole lot of nah. So I can't really think of what this speaks to. Hence, I think I changed my fate here. I think I shifted the energies enough, at least on that frame, for that not to have occurred. And into September, we have the Ace of Swords. This was the wildfires. This is also when I kind of, I finally got into working out at home a bit. Instead of going like on walks and stuff, I started doing like more workout videos at home and just like getting into a more routine habit with it, which I think definitely helped my mental health. Because at least I could do a little bit of activity while I was trapped in my house when the smoke and the air outside was literally so bad it was going to murder me, along with so many other people. God, that smoke was just like, you know, when you feel like you just like, at least we have, I'm now grateful for fresh air. Fresh air is nice. And then the universe said, I'm taking that away too. So with that shift of, okay, well, you don't get that no more, I think for me, this is really when the full pessimist in me came out. It was a full mind shift. Up until that point within 2020, I was very, of the mindset that things are gonna get better, right? Like, it's like, okay, this is horrible, this is really bad, we're clearly having a bad tower year, like, oh my god, tear down the system apparently. But also, but we're gonna get, there's hope, there's good things, we're not gonna have to claw our way through this. Like, hopefully, as a society, we will come together and fix this. And as the year went on, that thought process, it shriveled and died. I'm sure it's somewhere in the depths of my mind, but at this point, I'm very much, like I said earlier, I kind of want to have the universe grant me little blessings here or there so I can remember what it's like to like trust in the good of things again. Because I'm very much of the, no, we have to fight our asses off for anything good in this world, and we're gonna have to keep fighting. I am not of any sort of mindset of that everything that I love and hold dear, even is something as silly as my favorite jacket to like being cozy in my bed to even breathe fresh air. Everything that I think is a given is not. It all can be taken away, and so I'm going to protect it, and I'm going to fight for any little good thing I can get my hands on. So that's kind of been my mindset shift with that. I think it's funny because normally I used to see the Ace of Swords as a kind of a like a epiphany, a haha moment, oh, this just makes life so much easier now. And it's interesting because I definitely had a bit of an epiphany aha moment, but it's definitely, I don't know, made me more aware of how hard life can be, and even, I guess, more aware and grateful for the things that I do have the wonderful privilege of having. I had to deal with the horrible smoke, and I couldn't leave my apartment, and it was even leaking into my apartment because old building and things happen, and I had to do what I could to get through it. But I still have a house. I didn't have to evacuate. I didn't have to upend my life. My whole town wasn't completely destroyed. My loved ones are all safe and sound. That's a lot of blessings right there. So, pretty damn grateful for those. And finally, we get to the lovely month of October, and that is the Seven of Cups. Choices, illusions, interesting perceptions. And I mean, I voted this month. Have you? Please vote. It's very important. Have your voice be heard. Research everything on your freaking ballot and make sure you know what you're doing with it. I think there's definitely a huge amount of choices going on, and there is some illusion and deception, and I think dreaming in a sense of that this choice that I will make will bring everything back to normal, that it will all be fine again. But that little mindset shift I just spoke about from September, it's not letting me do that this time. Yeah, I gotta make a choice, just like we all do, about what we want the future of our country to freaking be, but I'm not letting that choice sit there and this is gonna be the magical switch flip that if it all goes the way I'm hoping it goes, this will all be fine, because it might not. So anyway, that has been my lovely tarot review. So let's hope that my lovely year ahead spread on Samhain will not be this terrifying, but honestly, We're just gonna see how it goes. Anyway, comment down below. How have your guys' year ahead spreads been? Have they been accurate? Have they not? Have they re-illuminated you to certain things when you're looking at the lovely year that has been 2020? All of that in the comments down below. And spooky videos are continuing, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.